Hey there and welcome back. So, first of all, to all the Commodore 64 fans out there, don't worry, I'm still working on the next episode about scrolling, but that's going to take a while, so please be patient. And also, I needed a break from programming for the Commodore 64, so yesterday I made a drop table system for NESmaker, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's start. For those of you who don't know what a drop table is, let's take a quick look. So, in some games where you kill a certain enemy, you'll get certain drops, and when you kill another enemy, you get another kind of drops. So, if you look at this guy, enemy number 1, if I kill enemy number 1, he's going to drop either a banana or an apple. If I kill enemy 2 over here, he's going to drop either a coin or a bag of money or a diamond. So in very simple terms, that's what drop tables are. We can make these different tables for what kind of drops we want for the different enemies. So this, what we're seeing right here, this is actually from the game that we are going to be using today. We're going to be using a test game here that I made just for this drop table system. So I've made some assets for this, which I will link in the description. So I've downloaded these assets, and here I am in NESmaker. So I'm just gonna start by creating a new project. Create blank tileset, and I'm just gonna call this game Droppy. Droppy, like that. And I'm going to select the Metrovania module. And I'm also going to save it real quick. Like that. Alright, so the first thing I need to do is to copy the graphics. So here's my the file that I downloaded with all the assets. So I'm just going to go into that folder and into graphics. I'm just going to select all the graphics in here and copy that. Then back to my NESmaker folder, graphic assets, and here in my Droppy folder, I'm gonna select everything in here and delete it. Then I'm gonna paste the graphics that I just copied. Alright, so now back to NESmaker. We've done these sort of things before, so I'm gonna do it quickly now. So I'm gonna go to palettes, all palettes. I'm gonna right click and import. And again, I need to go to my assets folder, drop table export. And this is all palettes. The next one is monster palettes, all monster palettes. I'm gonna right click, import, all monster palettes. Next, I'm gonna go to game objects. So I'm gonna right click game objects, import all game objects. And from my drop table export folder, I'm gonna choose game objects. And monster graphic banks, I'm gonna go there, graphics bank 0, select monsters, and gonna go up here, monster, import all monsters. And I choose monster objects. And I need to make a monster group here, so I'm just gonna call this monster group monsters 1, and I'll just select the different monsters I have here: green blob, red blob, purple blob, and yellow blob, and I'm gonna save that monster group. Alright. So we have palettes, game objects, monster objects. Next is the input editor. So I'm going to go down to the input editor, right click, import input links. And I'm gonna choose inputs, open, and then I'm gonna go to overworld, right click, import both maps, and I'm gonna choose maps here. Okay, next I'm gonna start up here. So I'm just gonna go screen by screen to screen info, day monsters, and set the monster group here. So I'm just gonna do that for all the 5 screens. So that's screen info, day monsters, day monster group, monsters 1. And I just have a few more screens to do that. So I think it's just 1 more screen. Oh, 2 more screens. So unfortunately this is not imported when you import something in NESmaker like that. So screen info, day monsters, and day monster group, monsters 1. Alright, then I'm gonna go down in the lower right corner here, and I'm gonna place my player in here. Doesn't matter where you place them, just not at the edges. Right. Alright, so we are almost ready to go. Now this is a default NESmaker setup, so I'm gonna get this error message from the jump script because I don't have the tutorial sounds here. So I'm gonna go to scripts, input scripts, and I'm gonna go to jump through plat here, the jump script. And I'm just gonna go down to this PlaySound, and I'm gonna comment it out by placing a semicolon in front of it and save. Alright, now I think I should be able to run it. Let's see. Also I need to set up the inputs. Alright, so okay, so options, I'm gonna do this real quick. So set up some random keys here. You've done this so many times before, so I'm just gonna do it really fast. So like that, and I don't like these. Alright, maybe a little bit bigger. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so here we are with Droppy and the Tablors. The game about drop tables. Okay, so I'm gonna start the game now. And yeah, seems like it's working fine. Just this little guy walking around, shooting bubbles. So, also, yeah, we're gonna have to do a few modifications because, like I said, this is default NESmaker, and by default, for some reason, all of the shoot projectile scripts have ammo in them. So I'm just gonna go to my input scripts down here, and let's see if we can find it. It's the one, yeah, there we go, shoot projectile scrolling. So what I'm going to do with the shoot projectile scrolling script is I'm just going to comment out these first lines here because I don't want to use the ammo system. So I'm just going to put a semicolon in front of these first 4 lines like that. So, and save. Alright, we're actually gonna have to do a few more modifications to NESmaker because there's a little bug or mistake. If you go to project settings, script settings, we need to go down to where it says handle object collisions. Select that one and click edit. So the thing is that in the object collision script down here at let's see, line 117, this destroy object macro should not be there, so I'm gonna comment it out like that. Now if we leave it in, that means that the enemy will just go away. If we shoot an enemy with a projectile, it's just gonna go away, no matter how much health it has. So I don't want that. Actually, I think that's a mistake in the code. Alright, so I just comment it out and I save the file. Alright, so now I should be able to play the game. Now, right now, it's not gonna be very interesting because I'm just walking back and forth, shooting monsters, and they are still just going to go away. First of all, they just have 1 health, but I haven't made any code for some monster explosion or anything like that. Let's kill this guy. Yeah, so he just goes away. So what we're going to do right now is that we are going to use this drop table system. And the way this is going to work is that these gangster blobs, these guys, the guys with, the blobs who have sunglasses and baseball caps, these guys are gonna drop money of money of some kind, either a money bag or a coin or a diamond. These guys, the gangster blobs. The other blobs, the normal blobs, they're gonna drop food items, so either a banana or an apple. So we have 2 different kinds of blobs, gangster blobs and normal blobs, and they are gonna have different drop types. Now you'll see that some of these gangster blobs are red, and so they have different colors. But the thing we need to notice is that the gangster blobs have sunglasses and baseball caps, and they are going to drop money items. Right, so let's make that happen. So now we are ready to actually set this system up now. So I'm just gonna go back to my assets folder, the drop table export, and there's a file in here called variables.txt. So just open that one, and here it says that we need to add 1 user variable. So I'm just gonna copy temp monster, and I'm gonna go back to NESmaker, project settings, user variables, and I'm gonna add a new user variable, this one, and I'm gonna rename it to temp monster. Now back to my text file. Next I have some 0-page variables. Now it's very important that these are 0-page variables. So we have drop low and drop high. I'm just gonna copy drop low here, and back to NESmaker, 0-page RAM, and I'm gonna add 2 variables here, and they will appear at the bottom down here. So I'm just gonna rename the first one to drop low. The next one is going to be drop high. So I'm just gonna copy that and rename that one to drop high. So here in 0-page RAM, now I should have drop low and drop high. In user variables, I should have temp monster. Now I'm going to do this the easy way, which means that I'm going to assume that you will be using this on an empty NESmaker or a vanilla NESmaker installation. So if you're going to use this drop table system in a game you're already working on, then you're going to have to do a few modifications, maybe. But I'm going to do it here, which means that we are just going to replace two files here. And if I go back to the assets folder here, and there's a folder here called scripts at the top here. These are the two files that we're going to replace. We're going to replace the default NESmaker scripts. So the first one is this, that's called Extra Tables Platformer Base. And if we go back to NESmaker, project settings, script settings, and we go down to where it says game, sort of in the middle here. Then we have something called extra tables here. This is the file we are going to replace. And if I just continue scrolling down to where it says common, then we have this handle monster hurt file, and we're going to replace that one as well. Now I'm just going to replace the files, so I don't need to do any change in here. So I'm just going to close the project settings. So that means that now in my assets folder under scripts, I'm going to select extra tables and copy that. Then I need to go back to my NESmaker folder, game engine data, routines, base 45, game. And even though this is a Metrovania game, it still uses some files from the platformer base here. So now we're going to go into the mod platformer base folder. And the file that we're going to replace is here under the folder called game. So just going to go into game here. So here's the extra tables that we're going to replace. So I'm just going to paste my new file in here, and I'm going to say yes, I want to replace that file. Then back to my assets folder, drop table export, scripts. And then I'm going to select hurt monster platform base. So I'm going to copy that. Then back to my NESmaker folder, game engine data, routines, base 45, game, and once again it's the platformer base folder, even though this is a Metrovania game. So mod platformer base. This time we're going to go into common here, the common folder. And just like before, I'm just going to paste the file that I copied from the assets folder in here. So I'm just going to paste it, and yes, I want to replace that file. So now the big question, does it work? Let's test, export and test. Let's see. So we have a start menu, and here we go. So there we have a gangster blob. Now remember, this gangster blob, if he drops anything, that is going to be, whoops, money, some money items. So, and it was. This is a coin. Now this other guy, when I kill him, if he drops anything, it's going to be a food item, so either a banana or an apple. So let's see. Yeah, it was an apple. So let's continue on here. There's another gangster blob, two gangster blobs actually. Whoops. Okay, there's some weird stuff going on here. Yeah, so we have a little NESmaker bug here, but okay. Alright, so we have, yeah, whatever. Anyway, he dropped a money bag. and you could see that this was a gangster blob. So gangsters are indeed dropping money, and the normal blobs, at least so far, yeah, so he dropped a diamond, and this guy, if he drops anything, okay, he dropped a banana. So it definitely looks like it's working. Let's just do a little bit more just to be sure. Okay, so this bug thing, I think it's the duplication here. So I'm getting duplicate monsters, and there's yeah, it's a common NESmaker bug. Anyway, here we have yeah, gangster blobs, and they are dropping money. So, and this was a normal blob, he dropped an apple, so yeah. You can see that it does in fact work. Normal blobs drop food items, gangster blobs drop money items. And right now, I don't have, I haven't written a tutorial on the NESmaker forum, but I'm going to do that. So right now, I'm just gonna leave you with this video and the asset file for this test game. But before we leave, I just want to show you just a little bit more how this works, in case you want to modify it. So now we have replaced the extra tables file. So I'm gonna go to project settings here, script settings. And I'm gonna go down to game, extra tables, this one. I'm gonna edit that one. So here you can see I have a section for drop tables. And first of all, it says that 255 is a code for no drop. I'm gonna come back to that. And it also says that the way that this is set up right now, the drop tables can have a maximum of 8 drops each. So each drop table can have a maximum of 8 drop items. To change, it says here, to change this drop routine, to change this, the drop routine in Monster Hurt must be adjusted accordingly. So here's an example of how you would do that. So here's an example where you would raise the number of drops to 16, a maximum of 16. And basically it's the same code here for getting a random number, but we are adding a 1 here in the binary number, because the first 3 bits over here are just numbers from 0 to 7. If we add 1 more bit over here, then we can get numbers between 0 and 15. So in other words, 16. Actually, yeah, it should be 0 to 15. But anyway, that's something you can do if you need to have a lot more drops. But keep in mind that drops here are game objects, and the way that NESmaker is set up is so that you can only have 16 game objects. So there's a kind of a limit there for how many drops you can make. Of course, there are ways around it, but we're not going to go into that right now. It's kind of complex. So anyway, here we have the monster drop tables. Now the way this works is that there's an entry for every monster. In my game there are only 4 monsters. So for example, if I go to my NESmaker here, I have my monsters here: green blob, red blob, purple blob, yellow blob. So green blob here is the first one out. He's monster number 1. So here in my table, he's right here. And what's this stuff here? Well, it's either a 0 or a 1. That means drop table 1 or drop table 0. And the drop tables are here. That means that monster 1, he's going to use drop table 1. Monster 2 is also going to use drop table 1. Monster 3 is going to use drop table 0. And monster 4 is also going to use drop table 0. So I have 4 monsters, but only 2 different drop tables. Now let's look at these drop tables. This is the first drop table. Basically, this is just a list. Like I said, by default it's set up to use 8 entries, so a maximum of 8 drops. And I've written a comment behind this. So the numbers you would fill in here are the game object numbers. Game object 4, 5, 4, 5, 4. And remember what I said, 255 means no drop. And the way that you count game object numbers is starting up here with the player, that's game object 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 down here. Those are drops in this game. And like I said, you just set the number for what drop you want. And as you can see here, you can have the same drop multiple times, which means it's going to be more likely that he'll get this game object 4. It's going to be more likely that he'll get that than this game object 5, for example, because this is just this has just 2 entries, but game object 4 has 3 entries. So that's the first drop table. Second drop table here, same thing, only this time there are different numbers, so there are different game objects. And just to use the test game as an example or as a reference, this number 4 here, that's the apple drop. The number 5 here, that's the banana drop. So it's pretty simple actually. So the drop table 0 here, that's the food drop table. Drop table 1, that's the money drop table. And the tables here at the bottom, they are just there to make this 0-page indexing thing work. Don't have to worry about those two. So basically what you need to do to use this is here under monster drop tables, just make sure that there's an entry for every monster in your game and what drop table are they going to use. You can extend this system, you can expand it to use more than just 2 drop tables, but then you would have to write more entries down here. So as long as you know what you're doing, it's no problem. But you have to know about how the 0-page indexing thing works. But in the beginning, it might be a good idea just to get this to work and play around with this. Try to just set up these monsters and decide what drop tables they are going to use. And in the drop tables themselves, you just fill in what game objects you want to be in that certain drop table. Alright. Well, that's it. So this is a shorter episode than usual, but hopefully you can see how this works, and hopefully you'll have some fun playing around with this. And like I said, I will be writing a written tutorial on the NESmaker forum. Hopefully pretty soon. But yeah, that's it for today. So have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.